thought about wearing shorts today, but I wasn't sure. Like yesterday,
Got a loincloth. Yeah, that's all obsidian.
like that one's better, right?
Yeah, that's more.
Yeah. I could cut something with it, right?
That's adorable.
Yeah.
We're gonna use some of this.
Okay.
We'll break into this.
I think it's amazing what you do, and it portrays you as an artist. All those pieces laid out on my table, man. It's like, I don't think people realize how hard it is.
Different blades.
Cool.
Some hafted cutters, some hand cutters, elongated flakes, some more over there. So a day's worth of napping with 20 years under your belt.
We're here with Donny Dust today. He's gonna try to teach me how to be a craftsman of stone today. A napper is what they call
I'm
it.
going to be a lithic artist before you know.
There you go.
You got to remember tools, not trophies. Build tools first. Tools get the job done. Trophies go up on a wall. You look at it. The tools, you're always using. So when we think about stone, in order to get to this sort of bifacial form, we're going to think of a piece of stone kind of like a peanut butter sandwich, right? Or a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. We have cortex on the top and the bottom. That is our bread. On the inside is our peanut butter and jelly. And our goal is to remove the bread piece by piece, chunk by chunk, until we just have that peanut butter and jelly on the inside. How we'll do that is through continuous and well-placed strikes with hard hammer percussion, which is all the stones you see sitting over there, or a soft billet percussion. When we look at this peanut butter and jelly sandwich, we have to imagine a center line that goes all the way around the stone. And this is key. And when we think of that center line, it can have high spots and it can have low spots. Our goal is to remove the stone below the center line. Beautiful thing about stone is, as we're removing stone beneath that imaginary line, we can flip it over and our center line is still the same, but now that stone that was above is now below. There's a lot of well-placed strikes up against your leg, as well as supporting the stone. You have to think of this like a piece of glass. That's essentially,
This stuff is super sharp.
razor blades. That's really your first tool that you'll create. Will be that first cutting tool, which I kind of call man's first cutting tool, because it's just a simple stone flake. That's a razor blade that you've used firsthand, cutting into bison and various other things.
We went on the bison experiment, or you invited me on that, and we got 7 or 8 hours of boots on the ground, boning out. Kind of me being an end user makes you have a better concept of using stuff. Like, I always look at that in a good hunting knife is like,
for sure,
does it have a good shape? Has this got a good belly for
sure? You understand, like, man, that blade's really thick. It's hard to get into the into that fascia and cut away if it's a little bit thinner.
Which on the bison experiment totally changed my train of thought on how you use stone and stone tools and their effectiveness.
That's pretty awesome. All right, let's throw this over your leg.
Okay.
We're going to break some stone.
All right.
And when we hold this guy on our leg, we're always kind of looking at our center line. So right now I can see that my center line is right here. If I rotate it this way, it's riding gently above. That's a chunk below. These are all chunks below. So you hold that guy on your leg, and there's a couple things you need to think about as far as your tool placement. These down here are abraders. They're just pieces of angle grinding stone or a piece of sandstone. We have our soft billets, and then we have our hard billets. Just like anything, if I threw a piece of rock on the ground, it could shatter in pieces. But if I supported that rock with some sort of cushion, it's going to have a least likely chance of breaking. So by you supporting it on your leg and allowing the shock wave to travel through the stone, capture itself in your hand, and not shoot another shock wave back. Sometimes in stone, you strike it, shock wave travels through, and it has nowhere to go. It has nowhere to dissipate, and it snaps the stone instantly. So you holding it in your hand allows that shock wave to slowly kind of travel into your hand. We're going to use some hard hammer first.
Some river rock here.
Yeah, these are just stones. Walmart has them. If you're into thievery, that's usually where I get them. When I park, me and my boys, we look for hammerstone. We're never striking the edge. Okay, and we're looking to always hit stone. When we're using soft billets, we're looking to hit edge. When we're using hammerstones, we're looking to hit above the edge. You're actually making contact with your leg and that stone on certain hits. But this right now is just stone.
Do you hold the stone, just let the weight of itself do it, or do you
kind of
grip it?
You give it some force.
Okay.
You grip it, and every strike, you think of a Hertzian cone. You ever shoot a BB gun at a windshield when you're younger?
All the time.
All the time. We've all done it. It creates a perfect 90-degree cone. We're trying to replicate that through every strike.
Gotcha.
So if I hit the stone, if I take this rock and I put it straight down on top, I'll get a cone this way. However, it's not likely to break. When I manipulate my angle of strike coming this way in conjunction with the angle of the stone, I create a sharp razor blade flake coming off. This will get you nowhere, but this, striking like that, will create that flake. There you go.
All right.
Big shock, pull pieces, nice. All of this right here is essentially a tool. We're gonna go for a little bit thinner. Just a little tap right there. There you go.
Easy field dressing tool.
It's a razor
that's
blade.
razor sharp already.
We can kind of look at this and say, all right, now this is above, this is below. Stone doesn't like to break at 90-degree angles. So let's flip it over and give ourselves a tap right there.
It takes quite a bit of stone to come up with one arrowhead.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot easier to transport this than it is 40 of these. There you go. We're going to come around the whole way. Good flake. We're going to keep going the whole way around.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, we'll drop to a little bit smaller stone.
Okay.
So let's go to this one now. Good flake. Look at that one.
Oh, that's awesome.
That right there is really your first knife, your first tool. You can cut grass, you can cut fibers, you can process game. You can hold it up to the light and see through that edge. So, and when you think about this, that stone, being that it is thin, it's got a little bit of mass behind it. You would put that into your kit. You could turn that into an arrow point at a later time. So you first use it as a blade, and then transform it into a flake.
Okay.
There you go. Good flake. Now that we went and we popped off this, and this
Our
flake,
center line's kind of drifting, huh?
it's dropped down.
Yeah.
So how we change that is we flip it over. It's all the manipulation of that that piece of stone.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense now. Yeah.
And as you can see, as you look at it, we're starting to get one face here. We're starting to get one face here. We have this little 90-degree side, but if we can do this the whole way around, essentially you're going to wind up with a nice, like, thick hand blade that you could use for 40, 50 years, to be honest with you. And that's what I like using. We're going to grab this guy, and what we'll do is we're going to braid. We always braid down, so it kind of looks like this. I'm looking to remove all that sharp edge the whole way around. What's coming off of it is all that little bit of silicate, a little bit of the grinding stone. You can flip it over, do the same thing. As we're braiding, we're looking for those new platforms, because that right there is a platform. And when we think of our center line, it's almost in line with this edge. That's sitting right below it.
We want to break it this way.
We want to hit that. Yep. Get a couple more right there. It seems counterproductive because you're trying to make sharp tools.
Right.
But
this would not make sense if you were
trying to figure
But I like this triangle piece too, because it fits nice in the hand
to grab onto.
Yeah.
So let's grab a billet. We got a couple different billets in there.
So from a billet, these are all made. We were checking these out a few minutes ago. If you didn't catch it on film already, this is a moose antler.
Yeah.
And this thing probably weighs at least 2 pounds.
Yeah. And when we hit with the billet, this is a kiss of the edge. You are going to be holding that rock up against your leg, and you're going to hit it into your leg. Good.
Oh,
good flake.
I think I hit too.
No, that was perfect.
Too much. Oh, okay.
So now let's find another platform that's sitting below that edge. It's kind of this area right here. Let's abrade this and see if we can get rid of this mass.
Okay.
Good. Good flake. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to come right here. So when we abrade this,
it's shocking how much a lot of this is really a feeling too. And like,
yeah, man. Once you've napped enough stone and you know how stone works through different strikes, you can almost anticipate. That's really what flake napping is that you are controlling the flakes. Like the flakes that we've just hit, that you've just hit, we've called those. So we know that if you prepare it a certain way, you hit it a certain way.
you know.
The flake, I know. The flake will travel, and over time, you just repeat that process again and again and again.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how's that angle look?
That's good right there. Don't be shy with the strike either.
This is really gratifying too. It's like a stress reliever. I could see why you spend so much time doing this. Yeah.
So abrade it, pop it.
Okay. Ooh, kind of naturally did it right there. Now, do you always do this in flip-flops?
Sometimes, yeah, no shoes, flip-flops. Center line here, drops here. There you go. Good flake. There you go.
Ooh,
Good.
that was a big one.
Good flake.
Okay.
So braid all that edge down. Man, over millions of years was able to create all sort of manner of tools, from spearheads to drill bits to
It's
knives,
amazing.
arrow points.
If this is our center line, we want to work back to that center
We
line.
need to kind of take this piece by piece, alternating, until it gives us that wave.
Okay, so looking for that platform,
Right there.
that would be the corner you're talking about.
This is actually a little bit more beneficial because now we got an easier approach. We're gonna go to my favorite style of stone, and these are flat stones. You're doing a little slap. You're supporting it with your hand. Your pinky is underneath that platform, and you're actually gonna strike the stone into your pinky, and you're just gonna take off a little bit of a chunk this way. And you should remove all of that, and then we'll flip it over and go the other way.
Okay.
Good. Good abrasion. Now give it another pop.
Okay.
Good. Now you've done it. See how we're creating the wave? One was there, one's there. This wave is going to start to match this wave. It's almost at a biface, which is pretty good. Bingo.
Okay.
Do it again. Good.
That was a big chunk, right?
That's cool though, because now that just gives us another opportunity to address this. Because there was a little break there, if you know what I mean. Good. That's coming along.
Okay.
Let's do the same thing right there. Good. Now this is where we can start kind of thinning it out through very specific strikes with our soft billets.
Okay.
And this is where we'll get some more of those pops.
All right.
Let's go back.
This guy.
Yeah. Good. You hear that flake?
Yeah.
Look at this. That's what you want.
Okay.
Every single time. So between a hard hammer percussion and a billet, these are the chunks you're pulling off with a billet. This is what you're pulling off with the soft billets. That's your platform. If you would have grabbed any more of the stone up here, you would have broke that off.
I would have got that chunk like I did there. Okay.
This you just kiss the edge and you rip that flake off.
So no pressure.
No pressure.
Do it again.
It's definitely bifacial.
This must be so frustrating for you. You have extreme patience, Donnie.
Just tapping the tip down. No worries.
All right, folks. This is going to be something else now.
That's what happens. So we'll transition to this. Well, we're at a phase now where we're actually going to go to something called pressure flaking. This is like the hardest thing in flint knapping. We're going to hold the pads in our left hand, the blade in our left hand, and then we're going to hold the flaker in our right. I'm looking to throw smaller micro flakes along the edge into it, the actual stone, creating more of a straight edge the whole way around. And I'm going to put my tip of my flaker on the edge. And when I push it, pushing into the edge as hard as I friggin' can, and then eventually I'm going to squeeze my legs together and take my right hand and push it into the pad, the left hand, and I'm popping a flake off. And it's one after another. Good.
Okay.
Good flake. Yeah, that's a good little flake.
Okay. So just kind of going down the line.
Yeah, you just kind of see how that one's here.
So this one, I'd probably want to work back.
Hit that one, hit that one. Just kind of do that one side, flip it over.
Okay.
One more. Good.
There we
Good
go.
flake. You
Okay.
hear it and you feel it.
Yeah, and you have to be pretty aggressive.
You do.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, this is stone against a piece of antler. Like,
yeah.
you got to get on there. Maybe that right there.
That one.
Yeah, a little abrasion. If it doesn't have any.
Probably right here.
Yeah, good one.
This is really like gratifying. Like it's a lot like shooting a bow.
As sporadic and as chaotic as flint knapping can be, like every strike is done with intention. Like
Yes, just like every arrow.
Exactly. Every single thing is with purpose. Because no matter what, being that you're pressure flaking, it will always be a serrated edge. It will only lacerate. It will never slice.
So at what point do I go from the stone vertical with the padding and leg pressure to that? Like what would be a good indication?
Once your edge is pretty flat and you don't have a lot of these low spots.
Oh, okay, a lot of those waves.
Yeah, so you just kind of level it out there, flip it, level it out there. It's kind of like a little bit more mass, a small amount of mass, and this is you're kind of giving it a shape. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like that.
And then you're using pressure with this and then manipulating the stone.
Yeah, because they'll work in unison. So like when I look at this projectile.
Oh man, that's beautiful.
So thanks. See how the edge is straight?
Yep.
And that's going to help ultimately either one of these make entries. So you could see my big flakes coming across and you can see those real tiny ones. So we're looking to do those little tiny ones on there right now. So you can haft it, and even when you look down the pipe, it's got a little convexity here as far as You know, it's got mass.
So this would give you better penetration than something that's wavy like this, because you're slowing down the momentum. So it is aerodynamics and
absolutely. You want it straight as possible. And those, I mean, you can run your hand through there, just over those edges. You can feel like, all right, if I was to really put that up against some flesh, it's going to rip and lacerate.
How do you even go about like finding?
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to stone, I mean, I just start with a lot of research. Look at museums. What did the indigenous cultures use for thousands and thousands of years? They actually had a source stone. So if I can find that source stone, load it up with a backpack and go. A lot of rivers, cuts. Colorado, there's quartz. There's different sorts of cherts. And once you can find those cherts, I mean, it will still exist today. If you take this rock, you would have no clue what's on the inside. And like,
oh yeah,
I mean, that's on the inside.
Yeah.
Some stones are less desirable. They'll break in a conchoidal fracture, but if you actually heat treat it, it will change the chemical composition of it and make it a more knappable stone. So you can, like ancient cultures would actually heat stone up.
So like put it at the base of a fire, just like you cure a bow or something.
Pretty much like you would throw it in a kiln. It takes several long hours of doing it, of heating the stone up and then superheating it and then letting it cool slowly, but you can change all
so then if I wanted to put an extra sharp point on this, if it was an arrowhead and much smaller, I would just work both sides until you get to your point.
What we're going to do on this is we're going to put that little cutout groove right here so you can hold on to it. It's kind of like, it's just reps and reps and reps and reps.
Man, that is not easy. That's all I got to say.
It's coming along. I kind of like to bring it down just a little bit, kind of take some of that off. And then what you'll have is a stone with life to it, meaning you'll have it for quite some time. This was not a cutout, but one fixed piece over time.
Oh, yeah.
And this profile has changed 12 different ways over the years. And now this is what's ultimately left. I've done the sheath more than I've actually I've had to change it so many times.
Because you start to lose material as you sharpen. Or
exactly. It was much longer and a different sort of bevel to it and face. This blade will last until he's, I kid you not. If you're
unless I break it in half.
Unless you break it. That would probably last him 5-6 years. Cutting with it. Pull it tight. Real tight. Yeah.
Super sharp.
We're gonna rub that wax into as much of it as possible. Perfect.
Gives it a kind of a nice finish too.
Yeah. Treats the bark tan.
That is amazing.
Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that's a good little cutter. You're gonna have some life with it, you know.
Thank you, Donny.
Yeah, man. My pleasure.
Appreciate you, brother. Yeah, this is super rad. Definitely got a lot of homework to do on this. And biggest takeaway from this is you can build this from stone if you want. Yeah. Anybody can do it. You don't need a whole lot. Just some education in it. And that's something that you do offer as well.
Yeah, I teach a lot of like long-term napping courses, like 3 or 4 days. We'll spend one day actually using all the tools, like you did in your experience. Yeah. And then we go off and we start with discoidal flakes, elongated flakes, to bifaces, hand blades, all manner of tools. Drilling.
Super rad, man. We'll have to do this again, or come out and take a class.
This is now.
Thanks for having us into your cave, and this is quite the tool, man. This is incredible. Awesome. It was an incredible experience.
Awesome.
I got to get stronger.
Anytime, brother.
Thanks, Donny. This episode of On the Mountainside is brought to you by Jocko Go. It's amazing. All you got to do is click the link in the corner right here. Be sure to use our promo code TMS10, save you 10% on all Jocko Go products, or visit themountainsidepodcast.com. Click on the affiliates page. There's direct links there or in the show notes.